To go on to Rio real quick. Rio, well, the Maxi line was developed at the same time as the Gem line, and if you want to know more about Maxi, I can tell you a lot more about Maxi. Maxi had a boyfriend, and his name is Rob, and he's actually sitting up here. They took Rio's body, cut a little bit out of his waist, and removed the joint, and gave him different arms and a different head, and then he was Rob. And so Rob has this nice rooted blonde hair. And then everybody said, you know, he looks like he's about 30 and he's dating this 16-year-old cheerleader and that's creepy. So they remade him the next year. They made him a little bit smaller and gave him the head with the molded dark hair. And no, come back. And so the one in the middle, the one in the green shirt and in the swim trunks is slightly smaller than again. And then they used him to be the new kids on the block. And so there's a new kid on the block, Jordan, with his rooted ponytail. And so that is the de-evolution of Rio. He went from Rio to Rob to the new kids. Yes?
Rob actually had not taken it out of the Rob, second issue Rob had the head like Ken doll. It flank and side versus the new kids. And as well said, we have heads like a G.I. Joe.
Yep,
no, well, no, it's got this stem coming out of the body.
Ah, okay, yeah.
And the head goes on that, so the head's actually
So this doll here with the blue eyebrows is the Craig Phillips Superstar doll. And what happened is, what looks to me, they had extra gem bodies. He's on the female gem body, which doesn't show here. I got him in the other room. He uses Rob's head, and you can see that it is smaller than Rio's. The hair is a cheaper fiber, and it's rooted very badly. There's a big bald spot on the back of his head. And so what I personally believe happened, as we go to this slide, here is Craig and Rob. And if you look at their makeup, it is completely identical, except that the eyebrows are removed without the striping. And I think that they had Rob heads left over because they were developing Maxi at the same time as Gem was just released a little later. I think they had extra Rob heads, and they said, we've got all these gem bodies, and we're selling them together. What have we got? Let's put some purple hairs and it's just a girl with a very square jaw. But anyway, there's a lot of debate about exactly the origin of Craig, but that's what Craig looks like next to Rob. Another slide? No, it's just bigger. So, guess what time it is? It's shoes! My favorite demonstration in all of Gem's shoe, well, my second favorite, but we can't do the first one here. Rio's shoes are completely self-explanatory. We don't care about anything except which of the white tennis shoes is Rio, glitter and gold Rio, which is the truly outrageous fashion. And the answer is, that is the truly outrageous fashion. This is, so there you go. That's all you need to know about Rio shoes. The truly outrageous is slightly smaller. They are a slightly different mold. Rio's shoe and glitter and gold Rio's shoe has a slightly bigger mold. The ones from the fashions are a little smaller. And the fashion shoes also, there's a boat shoe, but they are all very clearly different colors. And so if you just look at Gem versus Prancitron, the wonderful website, yeah, you can. They are not the same mold.
I know that zigzag
the new kids' shoes tend to be much more shaped. They're more of a relative shape. So, yeah. The new kids' shoes do fit Rio. So. The boots, there are two different boot molds. If you look at the one on the far right, you can see that it's a little teardrop shape, and then next to it it's kind of cut off and square on the top. So if you can't tell what color a shoe is in an auction picture, you can at least say, well, it's either that teardrop shape, which is the flash and sizzle gem loop, or it's this squared off one, so it's either going to be one of the Music is Magic fashions, either Rhythm and Flash or Rock and Roses. Same thing with Synergy versus Splashes of Sound. Synergy and Flash and Sizzle Gem, the doll boots, are squishier. It's much like that whole squish thing I just did. They squish up, and the other ones don't because they're very hard plastic, well, hard vinyl. Sandals are very exciting. What you should know about sandals is that there are two molds. You can kind of see the difference between the molds if you're looking at the yellow shoes in the corner. The farthest one out to your right is just misbehaving, and it is what I call a thin or narrow, forget what I just said, narrow, thick sandal. And the one next to it, which is Let's Rock This Town, is the thin, wide. And so the straps attach differently, and it's just kind of a different shape. So when you are putting together pairs of odd shoes, you need to know what you're looking for, whether it's the thin, wide, or the thick, narrow. All of the flip side fashions that came with sandals have a variation. They've got both a thick and a thin sandal. And so you just need to know what you're looking for. And beyond that, there's a lot of difference. There aren't a lot of color variations, but what I will say is that Let's Let the Music Play, which is the lavender sandal up in the top row, can fade, and there do seem to be two different colors between the first year fashion and the second year edition of the same fashion. One is more pink, one is more purple. Other than that, there's not a lot of actual variation. Pumps vary a lot more. I tried to draw the thin versus thick, and you can see that the thin has a lot more straight angles. The inside has kind of sharper corners, where the thick is smoother inside. It's actually pretty easy to see in person, but you just need to know that it's there. There's a mold that I call the Euro mold because some of the shoes showed up on European dolls. What that was the first holograms and the first Misfits got their own shoe, and it has kind of a scooped out heel. It's kind of a thin pump with a scooped out heel. That's what this card here is meant to show. So there are only 6 of those. I got Aja, Kimber, Roxy, who got purple shoes and the Euro dolls, Shayna, Pizzazz, and Stormer got the yellow shoes. And the most important thing about this mold is that it is used in second year flip side shoes, 3 of them, Running Like the Wind, we can change it, and Lightning Strikes. We just don't really have the color detail here to make this very useful. So if you have any questions about any of your specific shoes, especially, we can change it because that one gets mistaken a lot. You don't want to pay $50 for Euro Kitten or Euro Roxy. You just don't. Lightning Strikes is a little tough, and then the purples are a little tough.